Hello, my sexy and beautiful people of the internet. My name is Diego, also known as the Chilean Retro Gamer. And welcome back, after a long time for certain, to the Chilean Retro Gamers Retro Quest. Today, with a classic from Sega for the Sega Master System. Gonna be playing The Lucky Dime Caper, starring Donald Duck. Yeah, one of the many Disney games that a Sega console released. Especially on the Master System, there was plenty of Disney games, started with Mickey Mouse, and of course we have a Donald Duck as well. Actually, I got the inspiration to play this game out of these many old 90s video game magazines. I have a lot of them on a PDF format, Spanish magazines specifically for Sega consoles, or even Variety magazines that cover pretty much consoles from all companies, Nintendo, Sega, and others. And yeah, I saw a review or read a review on this game, but they knew it as Quackshot. So this is basically like a quote-unquote port of Quackshot, you know, the Sega Genesis game that is one of the cool Disney releases for that console, but adapted to the Sega Master System. However, yeah, even though you play as Donald Duck, this plays pretty much nothing like Quackshot. Spoilers. You will see that in a minute anyway, so it's not a spoiler. Of course, you have been reading the plot as I've been talking. Of course, you can pause and get more familiar with the plot. Essentially, Uncle Scrooge has been telling his nephews that all of the fortune he got is thanks to his hard work, and of course a little bit of luck thanks to a lucky dime. So Magica kidnapped Huey, Dewey, and Louie, as well as stealing the lucky dimes. To be honest, even though I'm playing this, I've never played Quackshot before. But again, I'm quite familiar with Quackshot, even though the map is pretty much like Quackshot's. But you will see that the gameplay is different. So at first you are able to select 3 levels, in which of course by the end of each of them you rescue one of the nephews. So as you can see, the controls are pretty simple. You jump, you also use a certain weapon. At first you are given a hammer, and I'm telling you right now, this is probably the only level in which you will see me use the hammer. It took me actually a while to figure out that apart from attacking with this weapon, which is a little bit dangerous and risky, you gotta be brave, essentially because it has no range at all and it's very easy to get hit. Character is quite sensitive to enemy contact. But yeah, it took me some time to realize that you can also kill enemies by stomping them, Mario style. The stars that you saw me collect are essentially an item that allows you to throw or use your weapon or attack with your weapon faster. When collecting 5 of those stars, you become invincible for a limited period of time. And as you can see, this little diamond to the left of the screen indicates the amount of stars that you have. So 1 more that I collect and I become invincible for a short period of time. So yeah, now it's when I realized that I can actually stop enemies. And now I became invincible. So yeah, when killing enemies, you get items. You saw me collect that star, but at the same time you can collect some other things such as extra lives. It's basically Donald Duck's face block that you saw me collect earlier. So yeah, we have to say that this game is quite generous with lives. The gameplay is quite simple, however, it controls, or Donald controls, much tougher than you think, especially when you are trying to control your character after a jump in midair. Like I said, it's quite simple to get extra lives in this game. So, the boss of this first area, that by the way goes by the name of the Nether Woods, is this, I assume it's a bear that has some honey in his head, and of course we gotta be chasing after the honey. The bee himself doesn't hurt you, of course the boss himself does. But he's got a pretty simple pattern. You wait for him to make a jump. He's not gonna jump that high to reach your position if you go to the other extreme of the screen. And of course you have enough time to stomp in when he lands. And that's how you rescue the first of your nephews. Don't ask me who or which nephew, because I know who they are, but I don't know which one is which. Okay, Louis, thank you game for clarifying things for me. So like I said, at first, what you have to do is rescue the nephews who got kidnapped by Magica's minions. And now we get to the second stage of the game. Even though I can select any of the three, I just go for the order that the game suggests from top to bottom. So the second stage is the Great American Forest. And I'm reading from the game's manual, quote, "Carefully leap across gushing waters, one full step, and you are food for the snapping wildfish. Hop on green turtles and jump on snakes. Get ready for a wet and wild trek." Actually, I didn't read the description for the first stage. It's all for the better anyway, because I was able to tell you the basic controls for this game, which I suppose it's better than having to read and waste all that time explaining what you can see actually on the screen. And instead of that, I prefer to explain something basic like the controls and such. Well, you saw me collect also a diamond that gives you, well, the orange diamond gives you 500 points. There is another blue diamond that gives you 1000, and the item you just saw me get is the frisbee, which unfortunately cannot be used underwater. But yeah, I got a frisbee, which is probably the best weapon in the game. Well, there are only two, the hammer and the frisbee, and like I said a few minutes ago, the hammer I'm pretty much used it in the first half of the first stage in the game, but after that I don't use it anymore, and it's definitely better to have a frisbee instead. And remember, if you collect more stars, you are able to throw your frisbee faster. So of course, you got the range on your favor, and also you get to destroy the enemy before it gets even closer to you much faster because of the stars you end up collecting. I mean, some of the stars, even though they are possible to get, they're not worth going for if you are close enough to a pit. Even though Donald is a duck and can swim, I'm sure these act as bottomless pits. We don't want to find out, of course. So second boss is a lion with a clown nose. Yeah, at first I was attacking him with stomps, but then I realized that I can use the frisbee, which is fast enough to hit him in whatever position he's in, so I don't have to get close to him at all. And that's how we clear the second stage and rescue the next nephew. Also, you hear dog in the background? That's my dog making noise. It's gonna happen quite often. So we rescued Dewey. Well, apparently all of them will have the same type of dialogue. So, third stage takes place in South America. Yeah, and the level itself is called the Andes Mountains. Club-throwing shamans and enchanted pots come your way. These towering mountains are threatening. Racing down the steep slopes will leave you breathless. The air's thin, but you have got to win. So yeah, we're applying classic racism for this region of the world. South America is all about jungles, or old temples, or tribes, and things of the sort. But anyway, I mean, we are pretty much over that by now. We still have fun with these generic types of levels. So yeah, here we have the slopes. I mean, it's a nice graphical attempt on Sega's part to apply on this 8-bit console. And it gets more inclined, as you can tell. By the way, you cannot move to the sides while running down this mountain. You just can jump and avoid the boulders. So here you can see a bunch of enemies coming out of these blocks. What I didn't realize until later is that what you have to do is to destroy those blocks, which are basically the enemy sources. However, killing all of these enemies is quite good in case you want to get stars and even extra lives. Again, this game is quite generous in that department. And now I'm got invincible, but of course, if you know in advance where are the best places to become invincible and kill a bunch of enemies or skip a bunch of the level with lots of enemies in it, of course it will be your choice. Now we're playing Tetris. Yeah, the blocks do hurt you, by the way. I'd rather wait for all the bunch of them to pass me by and then proceed. There's also apparently a time limit, which I don't pay too much attention to. In general terms, I proceed pretty fast with these levels. It seems like I was being shot plungers and not precisely arrows. So were they referencing actually quackshot? I don't think so, it's just mere coincidence in my opinion. Here we have the blocks again. And by now, as you can see, I'm using the frisbee a lot. Oh yeah, one basic element of the controls or the playability that I didn't comment on, you can take up to 2 hits. After taking the first hit, you lose whatever weapon you have, either the hammer or the frisbee. So after the first hit, all you can do to destroy enemies is to stomp them or just pass them by. But after the second hit, you immediately die. Same thing happens when you fall into bottomless pits. You die automatically, like any other platformer out there. Become invincible. Again, it's basically the first time I play through this game, so I don't know if it is convenient or not to get the star at this specific point of the level. I just proceed and go through the enemies or obstacles while I know I'm not gonna get hit by them. So yeah, you can consider this an auto-scroller. It's just a matter of timing and press the jump button at the perfect time. It is still a pretty short stage. And now we have the boss of the Andes Mountains. 2 statues. You can jump on those boulders and use the frisbee to hit the head of each of the statues. It takes a while. Be careful with these though, of course these are healths, so these are traps. Don't step on them. I mean, it takes some common sense, I suppose. It doesn't matter which one you destroy first, you have to destroy both of them. So whatever you pick first, you still have to deal with the other afterwards. I'm not sure if you are able to stomp on the statues themselves in case you don't have a frisbee or a hammer. I mean, I wanna guess you can. Yeah, I'm not trying it out, of course, because this is pre-recorded, this is post-commentary. So I just decided to go with the safe method. Even though it's the safe method or the safer of the methods to destroy this enemy, I mean, it still takes time and takes timing. As you can see, you can throw only one frisbee at a time. So you cannot spam that attack. Of course, you have to time it well in midair to hit the respective spot. Sometimes you can fail. So probably within the whole game this is the longest battle and the one that requires the most patience, without a doubt. And you have to hit this thing that possesses the statues one last time. And that's how you rescue the last of your nephews. So yeah, we rescue the kids, now we gotta rescue the dimes. No, just one. Because each of the nephews actually got given a lucky dime. All of them, of course, getting stolen. So there are 3 more stages to choose from. Pretty similar to, you know, games such as the Mega Man series for the Game Boy. You can select a certain amount of levels at first, and after you clear those, we have this sort of intermission, and then we select the rest, which we will see next video. Thank you for watching, guys.